Chichinadze Guram Tengizovich 0203-1983. We are March 2, 1983. You served in the 44th Battalion of the 115th Brigade. Entered service on February 23rd, captured on February 27th.
Of which year?
Of this year.
Tell me that. Are you a citizen of Georgia? How did it happen that you participated in babies?
And I'm not 41, I just turned here on March 2nd. I have lived in Ukraine for 30 years because when everything started in 22, everyone went there, that's how we all went. I went, somehow it happened, I stayed a little and kind of scattered. And this time, it didn't work out to scatter anywhere. I ended up on the beach.
But why him and Valtu? For what?
Well, there's also its own clasp, sort of. And plus I have court cases, I have 185th, 3rd, I don't know how it is in Russia, like thefts. Now any theft, even if you stole a box of matches, it is considered under the 5th part, meaning they give the maximum. And I can't leave from here, because if you go to any border, they check the database and they're, oops, you want to escape, but I wouldn't have escaped anyway.
So you fought in order to have this conviction removed?
Well, the conviction in prison too, I've served quite a bit of time in my life. And also, it's unclear how much more they would have given for everything. I didn't think the war would be like this. I had been in situations before, but I hadn't participated in anything like this. In one day everything happened that would have taken 2 years.
To me, just curious, I mean, how is it that the Ukrainian authorities send citizens of another country to war because they cannot leave the country?
Yes, due to certain circumstances they catch them, either to fight or something else. I mean, there are such moments where they can do something shady, do something that will make things even worse. Yes, that's how it is. They sit around doing nothing while sending people everywhere, setting up checkpoints. Now, in Kiev and other cities, they blatantly stop buses, stop cars, just stop people and hand out travel orders.
Well, they send them as cannon fodder. I don't know. Maybe your country's consulate. I reached out and they told me that until the war is over, maybe it won't be addressed anymore. That's the official response.
Your little tale, well, maybe not word for word, but not even softer, like, well, go, wander around like that. But you have a passport, yes, but I renewed it here. It was originally for 5 years, and then in 2016 I renewed it for 10 years. There are no stamps, not a single one, nothing, just a passport, just like that. Well, and the judge there, the secretary, like, fight, will you fight? Fight? He says, we won't bother you. Won't fight? Let's go.
Such a hopeless situation, I thought it would be exactly like that.
Yes, I was at the assault on Nova Kakhovka in 2022. There was a big assault by the whole army, but it didn't reach our turn because they started bombing. Although there was such a thing that the equipment went in to clear mines, little tanks, various, Georgian reconnaissance type. And over the radio, the commander was already there. Once these rights are not there, they removed them, they ran away. Then only this, he said, about a minute passed at most. As it started, in 20 and a half hours, that's what the guy said there, 200 something. We had 200 and 300 something, 300. Well, I didn't see the 200, but they brought in the 300, and they didn't advance even a centimeter.
Well, how did they transfer you here to this direction?
There was an acquaintance in this direction, by the way. He stayed in the trench there. He stayed there, he kind of goes, it's okay there, we'll sit, this and that. He also had issues with courts and various problems. He's not Russian either, sort of. Yes. But he was finished off, our guys finished him off in the trench. Our side stormed, we surrendered.
Wait, how did your guys manage that?
Oh, well, it was just, well, they flashed. It was really, well, I don't know, it's not just that I'm here, I'm trying to maneuver somehow. Well, really, it's a horror. Just to elaborate, the assault began around 6 in the morning. We were shooting back, we had injuries while shooting back. Somewhere for about 2.5 hours. Well, they stormed everything and took it. We threw down our weapons and there were even injuries, damn. Well, initially they just laid us on top of each other, then lifted us up, gave us cigarettes, food. The treatment was really humane. I didn't expect that. It came from the Russians. It's amazing from military people when you're being shot at and then you become a hero and feed that person. The attitude was excellent. And I also had a radio. Well, I didn't turn it on. And they keep bombing and bombing us. Tell them not to do that. I said this and that. Our position was called Koni. We were captured, don't shoot. I said, we're wounded, don't shoot at us. This is Chicha speaking, last name Chicha Kricha. Alright, message received. Who's wounded and who's dead? Well, I mentioned who was dead and who was wounded. Well, there was a bit of silence, then it all started again. Mortars are like that. They fly in and when you're lying down, they come in, drop, boom. How long were we there? About a day. It's hard to even count how long. And those who were lying on the floor, our own earlier, we just finished them off. Finished them off already? Our own already. Well, yours won't shoot on their own. I was already shouting, enter the sky, bastard. I apologize, of course, but still, it's not my fault. And then, when they were already taking us out, well, those who were still alive, and there was one lying there, well, actually they're deceased, and there was a guy lying there, he was severely concussed. They had just taken us out when suddenly something flew in. They call it a babai gun or something like that. It hit, and everything caught fire there. Specifically, well, along with that guy. And it dropped something big flew in and dropped it. We are heading to the command post now. And then silence for about a minute probably, and then it bangs. I don't know what it was, they were finishing off. Milena there, and I was already not shooting with valuable ammo. Atov, here, and the other one, so you connect with each other there. And so that they don't shoot, because there are prisoners here, the position is lost, do not shoot. Well, something like that. So, and you mentioned you have relatives in Russia, right? Yes, I do. My mother lives in Russia, in the Belgorod region, Bikinsky district, in the village of Strelets. To Strelets, my sister. We have a water connection on my mother's side. My uncle lives there. Well, my mother, according to my new information. On my father's side, the surname is generally Tyukova. Maya Vladimirovna, uncle, Tyukova. Lisila Dima. Have you even heard about Shebekino? This is one of those towns that gets the most affected. Here I heard, they showed somewhere in a video, like in a stream or something cheap, these kamikaze drones fly in, Songbird included. I heard that regarding this, it's not just terrible. I don't know why this doesn't end, why it lasts so long, why these balloons deliver ammunition for us. They lower them. Ours? Well, if you want, you can pass it on to your comrade. Comrade, most of them already know and understand the Patriots. We are left for a time, or maybe not even left. Initially there was a lot of this. Now, well, 100% to 99% it won't erase already. Well, we need to stop this war, and I don't want to speak harshly on camera, but we need to start a war there, whoever is involved in this. And that's it, end this war and stop it. After all, you are Slavs. Well, I'm half Russian too, but I have no ties with America or Europe. I don't know English or American, I've never been there. Yes, frankly, I'm not even drawn to go there. I would also like to ask, if possible, I don't know about the exchange, if it could be somehow in Russia, and to adjust to the fact that you don't want to return. Honestly, I don't want anything for any term. It's clear to me already, but really, you looked at all this and heard all sorts of things. But when you see it yourself and realize that it's completely different, there's no question against it. Honestly, whoever wants to stay in the area, I want to see my mom. I haven't seen her in a long time. My sister has already grown up, my uncle and grandfather, where my grandmother is buried, so there are plenty of relatives in Russia too. They are close relatives. I saw Milena when she was little. Now she's already married, and the kids there, Alisa too, have grown up. We'll leave the housing in Belgorod. In the Stavropol region too, there are relatives, but there is Russia with a desert. It turns out there are two citizenships, not Ukrainian, not a marathon, just a passport. A Georgian passport and a residence permit. Right, please, in Georgian. Yes, the passport, once I got it, I could have changed this passport 100 times. Ukrainian, but somehow I wasn't drawn to it, it didn't appeal to me. If it were possible, I would have stayed in Russia truly. From the bottom of my heart, I say I would have stayed gladly. I think this question will be resolved. Yes, it will happen, it really will. Then I'll try to somehow bring my son through Georgia to Russia. And your son is still there? In Odessa, yes. My mother is 15 years old. And who does he live there? Grandmother, grandfather, cousins. Mother, wife, deceased. My wife passed away 25 years ago. She had a heart defect. We keep in touch, right? Yes, of course.